Hi everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Dr. Surakshith Battina. I am a consultant at Indigo Womens Center, Chennai. I talk a lot about gynecology related issues, mostly fertility. So if that is something that you're interested in, do consider subscribing to my channel. In this video, I am going to tell you exactly what are your specific chances of taking home a baby after an IVF treatment. When I look at clinics which are advertising statements like 100% take home baby or your money back guaranteed, I feel personally attacked as well as also disgusted because I cannot understand of how low clinics can go just to reel you in as a patient. Instead of giving you the right information, they push you into IVF, and at the end of the day when you don't have the result, they would just push you into going for a donor egg. These marketing gimmicks will really not work for the long run, and it's more important that we educate the patient and spread the right information. That is the only way that it is going to help both the clinic as well as the clinician. I have also made a previous video on how to choose your fertility clinic. If you have not checked that out, do click on the toolbar to get more information on that. Thankfully, because of the widespread availability of the internet, a lot of patients nowadays are able to do their research online and they are able to take a judgment by themselves whether IVF is for them or not. Before we dive into how to calculate your specific chances of getting a positive IVF pregnancy, let us discuss about what are the usual chances of a normal pregnancy to occur in the various age brackets. So when you have a look at the graph out here, for somebody who's around 25 years of age, the chance of conceiving is about 25%. For someone who's around 30 years of age, the chance is 20%. For 35, it's around 15% and 5% when it's around 40. So clearly, age has a very big role to play in this. So the same goes even for an IVF cycle. The higher the age, the chance of getting a successful IVF pregnancy keeps dropping. So what happens when a person ages? Why does their chance of a successful IVF pregnancy drop so much? The first factor is the number of eggs which are retrieved, because the more number of eggs you have, the better chance of being able to fertilize them to be able to produce the embryo, so that we can go ahead and do the transfer of those embryos into the uterus back again on the day of embryo transfer. So the average number of eggs which are retrieved in a woman who's around 20 to 34 years of age is about 10 to 14 eggs. The average number of eggs which we can get from somebody who's around 34 to 39 years is around 5 to 9 eggs. For someone who's around 39 years of age, we can get an average of around 4 eggs, and for somebody who's around 40 years, we can get maybe around 2 or 3 eggs. So hold your horses, don't jump into conclusions yet. Just because you're 20 years of age does not mean that every time you will get only 14 eggs. This number is the most ideal scenario. Now, considering that most women who are actually going to a fertility clinic would have been trying to conceive for maybe 2 or 3 years previously, and only after failure of that would they even seek treatment. So, we have to consider a few other values which might be required. This leads me to the next value, which is also known as AMH, or the anti-Mullerian hormone. AMH is a specialized hormone which are produced by all the follicles, which are of course tiny eggs which are inside the ovary, and a typical fertile woman will have an AMH value of between 2 to 4. So we would consider any fertile woman with an AMH level of lesser than 1, we would probably think that she has some issue like a premature ovarian failure, or that she would have probably had some surgery on the ovary which would drastically remove her ovarian reserve. To know more about premature ovarian failure, click the tooltip which pops out here. So now that we have calculated the total number of eggs that we can get according to your age and AMH value, let's go to the next important thing, which is the fertilization rates. Fertilization rate depends on a lot of factors, the most important one being what kind of process they are using for your treatment, whether it is an IVF or an ICSI. If you want me to make a video about what are the difference between IVF and ICSI, do let me know in the comments down below. It's a known fact that IVF patients have a lesser fertilization rate than ICSI because we are injecting the sperm directly inside each and every egg. At Indigo Womens Center in Chennai, we have a 95% fertilization success rate, which means that if we have a good quality egg, chances are we'll be able to fertilize with a good quality sperm, and then we'll be able to get a good quality embryo. Now this leads me to the next factor, which is the sperm. One of the factors which have been very deeply looked into recently is the sperm DNA fragmentation. This is a term to denote an abnormal amount of genetic material which is present inside the sperm, which may lead to male subfertility. It can also lead to IVF failure and recurrent miscarriages. Now that we have finished calculating your chances of a successful IVF pregnancy after looking at the age, we have looked at the AMH value, we have looked at the fertilization rates, and we also looked at the sperm DNA fragmentation. Now that we have embryos, we have started grading them on how they look. For example, the best looking ones we say are A grade, and the not so good looking ones we call them as C grade. And let's just say, for the sake of conversation, an A grade embryo has a higher chance of implantation than a C grade embryo. But what's really important is what is inside the embryo. The most important factor which is going to give you a positive pregnancy is the euploid status of the embryo. It's very simple. Euploid means genetically normal embryo. Let us look at the chance of having a genetically abnormal embryo. For someone who's around 25 to 30 years of age, the chance of having a genetically abnormal embryo is around 25%. For someone who's around 31 to 35, it's 35%. 35 to 37, it's around 45%. And 38 to 40, it's around 60%. 41 to 43, 80% chances of having a genetically abnormal baby. And also more than 44, the chances of a genetically abnormal embryo is around 80 to 90%. A euploid embryo has the highest genetic potential to reach a blastocyst, which will give us the highest chance of implantation rates. Although there is just one more factor which I am really not interested in talking about, is the endometrial growth, because again there's a lot of controversy on this. Then we have thin endometrium, we have thick endometrium, but what is very important is that the endometrial quality may not really be that important. If somebody has chronic endometritis, the chances are their implantation rates are going to come down, because the endometrial thickness also does not grow beyond 6 millimeters. For a lady who's around 35 years of age, if she has 3 genetically normal euploid embryos, the chances of a successful implantation to happen if she reaches a blastocyst stage is around 95%. When I am saying it's 95% success rate, I am talking about not just a single transfer, it can sometimes be 2 or 3 embryo transfers. Make sure that you're mentally and financially prepared to go into IVF. Don't get pushed into IVF because your consultant said so. Make sure you calculate your personal chance of getting a positive pregnancy and only then go in for treatment. And always remember, there is no such thing as a stupid question. Ask as many ever questions as possible to your consultant, because they are being paid to give you their time. So make sure you ask them every single thing. Do not ask the clinic's overall performance, but rather your specific chances of getting a successful pregnancy. And make sure you do not read between the lines. If the doctor says your chance of conceiving is only 10%, then your chances are only 10%. Don't say, oh no, I'm feeling lucky this cycle, I might just have a positive pregnancy. Please don't do that. Make sure you're mentally and financially prepared to take that dive. So I hope I was able to provide some kind of value for you today. I hope you like this video. Go ahead, leave us a thumbs up, leave a like. It's going to push us a lot to make more videos like this. I'm not going to make any money out of this video. It's only here so that I can provide some good information for people who are looking for information in infertility. So if you want more videos like this, do subscribe, leave us a thumbs up, and let us know what you think. So until the next one, guys, see you and have a great day.